Very good day, guys. Welcome once again. I'm your host, Dr. Sachin Yadav. So, today, I hope you are doing well at your home, wherever you are present now. So, we are now going to complete the norma basalis about its description. So, posterior part of the norma basalis. So, here we can see again the posterior part of the norma basalis divided into medial area and lateral area. So, first we'll see learn about the medial area. So medial area showing from before backward the foramen magnum, the external occipital crest and the external occipital protuberance. Okay. So first the foramen magnum, it is the largest foramen of the skull. Remember, largest foramen of the skull, foramen magnum. Obviously by visualizing we can determine it. Now it opens upwards into the posterior cranial fossa. Okay, and downwards into the vertebral canal. So it is the communication between the posterior cranial fossa and vertebral canal. So it is oval in shape, being wider behind than in front, where it is overlapped on each side by the occipital condyles. So this you can see, this is occipital condyles. The structure passing through this foramina we will discuss later on. Now the external occipital crest, so it begins at the posterior margin of the foramen magnum here and ends posteriorly at the external occipital protuberance here. Fine. Then external occipital protuberance, it is a projection located at the posterior end of the crest and it is easily felt in the living. If you put your finger on the back of the head, okay, so in the middle portion you can feel an elevation, so that is known as the external occipital protuberance. Fine. Now the superior knuckle line, which is being at the external occipital protuberance and inferior knuckle line at the middle of the crest. So both of them are curved laterally and backwards and then laterally and forwards. Got it? Now we'll cover the lateral area. This was about whole the area shows the condylar part. So you can see this is the condylar part of the occipital bone. Then the squamous part, you can see this is the squamous part of the occipital bone. The jugular foramen you can see between the occipital and the petrous part of the temporal bone. Then the styloid process of the temporal bone and the mastoid part of the temporal bone. Fine. Now the condylar or lateral part of the occipital bone we'll see first. The occipital condyles are oval in shape and are situated on each side of the anterior part of the foramen magnum. Their long axis is directed forwards and medially. They articulate with the superior articular facet of the atlas vertebra. So you can see how the atlas here, its superior articular facet is articulating with occipital condyle, forming the atlanto-occipital joint. Okay, very good. Then there is the hypoglossal canal, also known as anterior condylar canal, which pierces the bone anterosuperior to the occipital condyle and is directed laterally and slightly forwards. So the condylar, and there is the condylar of posterior condylar canal, occasionally present in the floor of the condylar fossa. This is the condylar fossa here, and sometimes it can be cannulated to be called as posterior condylar or simply condylar canal. Okay, that is behind the occipital condyle, and superiorly it opens into the sigmoid sulcus. Then the jugular process of the occipital bone. So it lies lateral to the occipital condyle, the jugular process, and forms the posterior boundary of the jugular foramen. What? The posterior boundary of jugular foramen. This is jugular foramen and this is the posterior boundary formed by the jugular process. Till now you got it? Now the squamous part of the occipital bone. So this is marked by the superior and inferior knuckle lines, already we have mentioned. Then the jugular foramen is a large, the jugular foramen, it is here. This is large and elongated with its long axis directed forwards and medially, and it is placed at the posterior end of the petro-occipital suture. So you can see this is the suture between petrous temporal bone and occipital bone known as the petro-occipital suture. So this is the posterior end of the suture marked by the jugular foramen, and at the posterior end of the foramen, its anterior wall, that is the petrous temporal bone, is hollowed out to form a fossa. So this fossa, that is depression, this fossa is known as the jugular fossa, and this jugular fossa is lodging the superior bulb of the internal jugular vein. So you heard now about the jugular vein, internal and external jugular vein. So this superior bulb of the internal jugular vein is located on this jugular fossa of the petrous temporal bone, and this fossa is larger on the right side as compared to the left side. Okay? The lateral wall of the jugular fossa is pierced by a minute canal. Here you can see, and this is known as the mastoid canaliculus. Okay guys, now near the medial end of the jugular foramen, there is a jugular notch. Okay? And at the apex of the notch, there is an opening that leads into the cochlear canaliculus. Remember, at the apex of this notch, there is an opening that leads to the cochlear canaliculus. Then there is the tympanic canaliculus also, which opens on or near the thin edge of the bone between the jugular fossa and the lower end of the carotid canal. So between this carotid canal, lower end, and jugular fossa, you can see here is a tympanic canaliculus opening here. Okay guys? Then the striate process. So most of the time it is broken when handling the skull. So striate process is there. So there are the various attachments we will describe later on. Now the stylomastoid foramen, you can see, so it is situated posterior to the root of the striate process at the anterior end of the mastoid notch. So this is the stylomastoid foramen. So don't confuse this stylomastoid foramen with this mastoid foramen here. This is a mastoid foramen which can be viewed from norma occipitalis, and the stylomastoid foramen can be seen on the norma bassalis. Okay? Okay. Then the mastoid process. So we have already seen many times this mastoid process. So it is a large conical projection located posterolateral to the stylomastoid foramen, and it is directed downward and forward, and it forms the lateral wall of the mastoid notch. Okay guys, so this was all about the posterior part of the norma bassalis. So till now we have completed the features of the norma bassalis. So when we will meet next time, so I will cover the cranial fossa, okay, that is floor of the cranial cavity, anterior, middle and posterior cranial fossa, and also all the foramina, which are the foramina on the norma bassalis and in the cranial fossa, and what is the structure passing through those foramina. Okay, got it? So we have completed this for today. We are done. So thank you very much guys. So we'll meet next time. So just be happy, prepare well, and all the best. Thank you very much. Bye bye.